Greetings. Welcome to Lesson 4 of A Course in Miracles. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. In these practice periods, begin with noting the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts you think are bad. You will find, if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, that they represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. This is why they do not mean anything. In selecting subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. None of them are your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. Let me repeat that sentence again. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. None of them are your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones, of which you are aware, are but shadows of what lies beyond. And shadows make sight difficult. I'll repeat that part again. The good ones, of which you are aware, are but shadows of what lies beyond. And shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You do not want either. This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps toward the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside you and the meaningful within. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize what is the same and what is different. In using your thoughts for application of the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, this thought about blank does not mean anything. So you can insert a person's name or idea or event. It's like the things I see in this room, on this street, and so on. You can also use the idea for a particular thought which you recognize as harmful. This practice is useful, but it is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than 1 minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. Further, Since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult. Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later. Okay, you can pause your video now, and I'm going to move to the Year of Forgiveness and read Jesus' commentary. So do the lesson and then come back and finish watching the Jesus commentary in A Year of Forgiveness. Lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. I am pleased you have made it to day 4. This is no small feat when you consider the part of your mind you know as yourself has no interest in this process. You encounter an aspect of your mind that argues with what you, in your attempt at consciousness evolution, try to do. You hear a voice in your mind or have feelings of resentment or resistance to doing these lessons. It's very important at this early stage, when you are a novice at this mind training business, that you understand the larger part of your consciousness has no interest in spiritual evolution or consciousness expansion. In fact, it absolutely resists it. Why is this so? Well, you have chosen to come into separation. You have chosen to come into this place that so profoundly lacks love. Your body and your individual appearance demonstrate a physical demonstration, your conscious belief in individuality and separation. In that individuality and separation, you have been further trained by your society to feed that part of you. So when asked to do things that go against your society's training, that well-fed, also loud and obnoxious at times, part of your mind, used to having things its way, will not be happy at all. It is just as people newly going to the gymnasium to improve their fitness. 3 or 4 days in, the muscles complain. The minds of the beings trying to improve their fitness realize that this is going to be a little more difficult than they thought. This is when it is really important to recall the decision you have made to do this year-long study, because you made this decision based on evidence that the way your mind works and the way you do things is not bringing you what you want. That has not changed on day 4, has it, dear ones? You have not suddenly started to live the life you want. You still have the same evidence speaking to you that you had on the beginning of this journey. Do not back out now. Do not sabotage yourself by saying, oh, I can't do this. This is too much bother. Go back to the decision you made. There must be a better way than what I am doing. You must understand that your behavior comes from your feelings and thoughts, and your feelings and thoughts come from what you believe to be true about the world. If your beliefs about reality, the world, what you are, who you are, and why you are here are incorrect, then your behaviors will not serve you because they are based on untruth. On day 4, recalibrate yourself to align with that decision. I'm going to do the year-long practice of A Course in Miracles. I'm going to observe when my mind argues, because there is a part of my mind that's curious about what's going on, about what's going to happen, and wants to continue to do these lessons, and wants to continue to do these lessons. Let me repeat that part. On day 4, recalibrate yourself to align with that decision. I'm going to do the year-long practice of A Course in Miracles. I'm going to observe when my mind argues, because there is a part of my mind that's curious about what's going to happen and wants to continue to do these lessons. But there seems to be another part of my mind that is not happy about it. I am going to step back from being deeply involved and engaged with both of those aspects. And I'm going to observe and say, I have made a decision, and I'm going to stick by that decision to do the lessons of A Course in Miracles, to see what happens and to see whether there is a discernible and quantifiable transformation in my life. We are here with you. I am the one you know as Jesus, and I'm happy that you joined us today. We look forward to joining with you tomorrow. We will speak to you again soon. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.